Hi there, I'm Michelle Cottrell Williams. I'm the 2018 Virginia Teacher of the Year. I teach social studies at Wakefield High School in Arlington, Virginia, and that means I teach any number of different courses. This year I teach sociology, psychology, and economics and personal finance for English learners. So this month's message is how to help children manage stress. So I want to start with a little bit of information about how stressed out today's teens are. The American Psychological Association conducts a study every year. According to the most recent report published in October 2018, teenagers continue to report being more stressed out than adults. 75% of Generation Z respondents indicated that their top stressor is mass shootings. They're more stressed than adults about other issues in the news as well, such as separation of immigrant families and sexual assault. 91% of Gen Z respondents indicated that they have experienced at least one physical or emotional symptom of stress. This is resulting in a lot of stressed out kids. So some tips for helping students learn how to deal with their stress include communicating, teaching healthy coping habits, and creating a safe harbor. So I want to talk first about communication. As an adult, especially in the life of an adolescent, it's especially important to create open lines of communication with our students that are free from judgment and from advice giving. Teenagers are at a stage in their life where they're trying to figure out who they are and where they belong. And a lot of times when they talk about stress and the things going on in their lives, adults will try to tell them how to do things better or even trivialize their concerns, saying that they are minimal compared to what an adult has to deal with. So it's really important to maintain open lines of communication with kids and adolescents in a judgment-free zone. Second, we need to be teaching our teenagers healthy ways to cope with their stress. Some of the best ways to cope with stress, whether you're a child, a teenager, or an adult, are to exercise. Get your body moving. If it's sunny outside, take a walk during the day. Second is to make sure you get enough sleep. I know in an era where academic stress is high and students are trying to do everything they can to get that A, it can be really difficult to prioritize healthy sleep. But third, and I think most important, is to create a safe harbor for students. Students come to our classes with all sorts of different backgrounds and experiences. Many of our kids have faced a lot of trauma, and school often becomes the one place where they're able to feel safe. So the way that I try to create a safe harbor in my classroom is to open up right in the beginning of the year with setting a classroom culture of openness and vulnerability with my students. I like to do this by participating in an activity with my students very early in the year. I learned about this activity from a man named Ashanti Branch, who started the Ever Forward Club. So he explains that as a society, we don't talk enough about what is stressing us out and the things that we're carrying. Sure, it's easy to list off the things that are stressful to you, but we never really sit down and talk about the root causes of our stress. This activity aims to break down the walls of communication between people. So this is a mask activity. The founder explains that we all wear masks as we go around the world, trying to hide who we really are inside and showing others what we think they want to see. But it becomes really tiring and stressful to always wear the mask. He shares a common anecdote of maybe being out at lunch duty or sitting alone in a meeting, and a colleague comes up to you and says, "Hey, are you feeling okay today?" What your colleague is really noticing is that your mask has started to slip a little bit. And we have two options in that situation. We can let the mask down a little bit more and talk with our friend about what's going on. Or the more common response for many of us is to tighten up that mask, bring it back up and say, oh, no, I'm fine. Things are fine, and never talk about it. So to begin to break this down and establish this culture with my students, what I have them do is take a blank piece of paper. And on one side of the paper, they draw a mask, and they write words around the mask of characteristics that they want others to see about them. And so think about this for yourself as a teacher. What are the things that you want others to know about you? The second part of the activity is you flip the paper over to the other side and you draw another mask. But this time, you write the things that you try to hide from the world, okay? So maybe you're unsure. Maybe you're afraid. Maybe you feel broken. Okay, those are the things that you write on the back of the mask. And then everybody in the room takes that paper and crumples it up in the tightest ball that they can. Okay, they're taking all of those insecurities and the parts of them that they want to hide from the world, and they crush it as small as they can. And this requires a lot of trust. But everyone in the room throws their little ball of paper up to one point. And then together, everyone gets up and goes and picks up a ball of paper. Now, they don't know whose this belongs to. Okay, there aren't any names, but they take it back to their seat and open it up and look at both sides of the mask. And almost every time I do this, participants will reflect on the fact that something they have written down on their paper is showing up on the paper that they're looking at. And we debrief and we talk about what does this mean and how does it make you feel to know that somebody else in this room right now is walking around feeling the same way as you. And we use this as an opportunity to talk about how none of us is perfect and all of us feel broken sometimes. And that if we just talked about it, it might not be so hard. And we use this activity to establish this safe harbor, this space of trust. I participate in it with the students as well. And so they come to believe through activities like this and through the conversations that we have that they can come and talk to me when they're feeling stressed out. So hopefully some of these tips can be useful for you in working with your students and maybe even for yourself as you manage your own stress. Be well.